You think it starts small, but this story pulls you through $3,000, deals, silent highways in Texas, coded messages, and decisions worth over $1 million. You step into a world where one wrong turn costs everything, where trust is temporary and pressure never leaves. Names change, routes shift, and every level strips away something human. This is not about crime. It is about control, fear, and how far someone goes before they stop recognizing themselves. You follow Ethan Cruz through 5 levels, each one colder than the last, until survival becomes the only rule that matters. You keep telling yourself this is temporary, just one run, just one risk, as you step into level 1, Mule. Your name is Ethan Cruz, and in March 2021, in the outskirts of El Paso, Texas, you said yes, because $3,000 felt like a lifeline, not a warning. The bag in your trunk looks ordinary, clean, forgettable, but every mile you drive makes it heavier, like it knows what it carries. You were told not to ask questions. Just follow the route, keep your phone silent, and trust the timing down to the minute. The highway stretches out in front of you, empty in a way that makes every passing car feel like it is watching, measuring, waiting. You grip the wheel tighter when you see the checkpoint sign, your heartbeat counting louder than the engine, each second dragging like it might snap. You remember the voice that briefed you, calm and distant, reminding you that people who panic make mistakes and mistakes do not get second chances. The officer barely looks at you, just a glance, a pause, and then a gesture forward that feels unreal, like you slipped through something you were never meant to cross. When you finally park and hand off the car in a dim lot outside Las Cruces, the envelope is thicker than promised, closer to $5,000, and that is when the line inside you quietly shifts. You tell yourself you got lucky, but deep down you know luck has nothing to do with why your phone lights up again that same night with a new message waiting. The message does not ask, it assigns, and before you can pretend to hesitate, you realize you have already stepped into level 2, driver. Your name Ethan Cruz now means something to people you have never met, and by April 2021, you are no longer moving small packages, but driving a black pickup truck loaded with goods you are told are worth over $120,000. The route is longer this time, stretching from El Paso through New Mexico into the edge of Arizona, a corridor that feels too open to be safe. You are given a new phone, a burner with only 3 contacts, and each message arrives like a command you are expected to follow without thinking. The truck hums steadily, but every sound inside the cabin feels amplified, every mirror check turning into a silent question about who might be behind you. You learn quickly that speed is not your ally, that blending in matters more than escaping, and that confidence can be faked just long enough to pass unnoticed. A white SUV lingers behind you for miles, never too close, never too far, and you start to understand that fear is not loud, it is patient. When you stop at a gas station outside Tucson, you notice another driver watching you, not curious but aware, like he knows exactly what you are carrying without ever seeing it. The drop is smoother than the first, more organized, more precise, and when the payment comes through, it is wired this time. Exactly $8,500, no envelope, no words. You sit in the driver's seat after it is done, realizing you were never just delivering. You were being tested, measured, and quietly approved. As you turn the key and the engine starts again, your phone vibrates with a new instruction. And this time, it is not just a route, it is a responsibility. The next message is different, less about driving and more about control, and without saying it out loud, you understand you have crossed into level 3, border coordinator. Your name Ethan Cruz is no longer tied to a vehicle but to a system, and by June 2021, you are standing near the edges of Ciudad Juarez, watching routes instead of running them. The phone you carry now never leaves your hand, holding schedules, timings, and coded updates that decide whether a shipment moves or waits. You are introduced to drivers who look at you for direction, their eyes searching for certainty you are not sure you have, but you give it anyway because hesitation is not an option. Every crossing is a calculation, a balance between timing, traffic, and silence, and you begin to see how fragile the entire operation really is. A delay of 10 minutes can ripple into hours, a wrong turn can collapse a route, and suddenly the weight you carry is no longer hidden in a trunk but spread across people depending on you. You start coordinating movements through 3 checkpoints, spacing vehicles out so nothing looks connected, nothing feels patterned, nothing stands out. One night, a driver goes silent, and the line on your screen freezes where his last signal was, forcing you to decide whether to reroute everything or risk the delay spreading further. You choose to move the others, adjusting routes in real time. Your voice steady even as something inside you tightens with each passing second. When confirmation finally comes through that most of the shipment made it across, no one celebrates, and neither do you, because you already see how close it came to failing. The next instruction arrives without acknowledgement, asking you to handle multiple routes at once, and you realize this was never about trust. It was about how much pressure you could carry before something breaks. The shift happens quietly, without ceremony, when the messages stop being instructions and start asking for decisions, pulling you into level 4, Logistics Manager. Your name, Ethan Cruz, now sits behind multiple routes at once, and by September 2021, you are coordinating movements across Texas, New Mexico, and parts of California, tracking shipments valued at over $500,000 in a single week. The screens in front of you map out everything in real time, vehicles moving like pieces on a board, each one depending on your timing, your judgment, your ability to see problems before they exist. You are no longer reacting, you are planning, choosing which routes are safer, which risks are worth taking, and which delays can be absorbed without drawing attention. The pressure is different now, quieter but heavier, because every mistake multiplies, spreading across drivers, schedules, and money you will never physically touch. You notice patterns others miss, small inconsistencies in timing, gaps that feel wrong, signals that suggest something is leaking, and the idea of a weak link settles in your mind like a constant shadow. One shipment running through San Diego goes off schedule by 20 minutes, and that small shift forces you to reroute 2 other vehicles, turning a simple run into a chain reaction you can barely contain. You make the call to push everything forward instead of holding, knowing the risk is higher but the delay would expose more, and you commit before doubt can catch up. The delivery completes, but the margin was thinner than ever, and the silence afterward feels less like success and more like something waiting. A message comes through, short and sharp, asking if you are sure about your choices, and for the first time, you sense that being right is not enough if someone higher decides you were wrong. Your screen lights up again with a new set of routes, larger, more complex, and as you begin mapping them out, you realize the next step is no longer about managing movement, it is about controlling territory. The realization settles in before anyone says it, as control replaces coordination and you step into Level 5, Plaza Boss. Your name, Ethan Cruz, now carries weight in January 2022, tied to a territory stretching across parts of southern Arizona and into New Mexico, where every route, every payment, and every movement answers back to you. You no longer watch screens alone. You oversee people who once stood where you did, and their silence tells you they understand what is expected without needing to hear it twice. The numbers are bigger now, shipments moving past $1 million in value, but the money feels distant, almost abstract, compared to the pressure of holding everything together. You begin to see the territory not as land, but as a network of fragile agreements, each one depending on timing, trust, and the illusion of control. A report comes in about unfamiliar activity near Tucson, subtle changes in traffic patterns that suggest someone else is testing the edges of what you manage. You respond by tightening routes, adjusting schedules, and reinforcing the structure, knowing that hesitation invites attention you cannot afford. The people under you look for direction, but what they really need is certainty, and you give it to them even when you feel the cracks forming beneath the surface. Every decision now carries a different weight, not just success or failure, but whether the system holds or begins to unravel in ways you cannot stop. The calls you receive are shorter, colder, less forgiving, and you understand that power here is not ownership, it is responsibility without protection. When the latest shipment clears without issue, there is no relief, only the quiet awareness that something larger is already shifting beyond your view. As night settles over El Paso, your phone lights up with a single message that does not include instructions, only a name you have never seen before, and you know this is where control starts to slip. By the time you reach the top, the money no longer feels real, and neither does the power tied to your name, Ethan Cruz. What started as $3,000 becomes a system too large to escape, where every decision echoes across people and places you cannot see. The routes never stop, the pressure never fades, and control is always temporary. You are not the same person who said yes in March 2021, and you know there is no clean way out. The message on your screen is not an ending, it is a reminder that something bigger is always watching.